Hello, this is Jerica from the Realistic Homestead, and today was kind of a crazy day, so I just decided to film this while my family was being crazy in the background, so you get to hear me on the microphone today. But I filled this up to about 2 quarts worth of pinto beans, which I quickly realized was a lot, but there's no going back. And so I soaked them overnight, which ended up to filling that thing to the very, very tippy top, 6 quarts worth of beans. And I'm just gonna make refried beans. I put some butter, onions, and garlic in the bottom, and those were cooking for a little bit. I'm just gonna fill this pot up all the way with water, well, over the top of the beans, which is pretty much all the way. And then we're just gonna cook this low and slow for about 3 hours. And after that, we're gonna add a ton of spices. Okay, in this little dish here, I have paprika, chili powder, cumin, and black pepper. These have been simmering for about 3 hours now. And when I pushed one up against the edge of the pan, it broke easily. So I think that they're ready to be smashed or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to use an immersion blender though. But I'm going to put these spices in here and let them be for a little bit. Okay, the recipe, the lady says she uses an immersion blender, so that's what I'm going to use because I don't have a potato masher. So we're going to hope for the best. Okay, that actually worked very fantastically. I think I'm going to add a little bit of milk for the richness that it's going to add, and then I got to let this cool down before I can do anything with it. I was going to can it, but I think I'm just going to put it in freezer bags and put it in the freezer because this is a frequent thing that we go through at our house. I think I ended up adding about 6 packets worth of taco seasoning. They were very bland because the recipe that I was following was only for like 2 cups worth of beans to begin with, and so I had to add so much spices. Um, but also my husband, when he eats refried beans, what he does is he adds ground beef, a packet of taco seasoning, and then cheese, and he just eats that for a lunch with chips. And so I figured, why not just add the taco seasoning right now so that he doesn't have to do that when he goes to make his lunches for the morning. So that's what I'm doing. But after that taco seasoning was added, these tasted so much better. Just because of the sheer amount of beans that I had, it needed a ton of seasonings. Then I'm just going to wait for them to cool down, which might be a very long time. And then I'm going to put them in freezer bags so we can put them in the freezer. Okay, welcome back to the pinto bean saga. I have this much pinto beans left, almost 2 quarts left after I made refried beans. So I'm going to go ahead and pressure can these in quart jars. I'm using the Presto digital pressure canner today, and it just saves me lots of time and lots of grief. This is a really simple, it's really simple to use once you read the instructions. I have some water in there up until the fill line, which is about 2 inches, and this time I'm going to put in vinegar so that the minerals on the, oh, that's probably a lot, so that the minerals in the water don't get on the outside of the jars too much and make them all cloudy and a weird texture. I am going to put pressure can. And for pinto beans, it is 90 minutes. So I put 90 minutes. Now I'm going to insert the jars. All I have to do for this is just get these filled with water. Okay, so I'm just going to put my 2 jars in there. Put the lid back on. Turn this. And just press OK. And now it's going to warm the jars for us. I have to get the pinto beans ready. They have been soaking for a while. So I'm going to just strain these. When you can stuff, you want to put either hot things in hot jars or cold things in cold jars. If you do it backwards, if you have different temperatures, you run the risk of cracking your jars or having them not seal properly. So since my jars are going to be hot, I need my pinto beans to be hot. So I'm going to fill this up with just enough water to cover them by like 1 or 2 inches. I've got my pinto beans in here. You can't see the water because of me tilting it, but I'm going to just get this to a boil. And then once it has boiled, then we can go ahead and put them in. Okay, online I was reading about a little bit of a controversy of how long to actually boil the pinto beans for before you put them in the canning jars. In the instruction manual it says to boil for 2 minutes and then cover them, turn the heat off and let them sit for 30 minutes. But a lot of people online were saying that that is too long and that they come out way too mushy. So I'm just gonna boil them for 2 minutes and then put them in here and we'll see how it goes. If they're too hard when they come out, then so be it, because I'll just have to deal with it. Cook while they're in here for 90 minutes and then they also continue to cook while you take them out while they're cooling down. So I don't think that it will be too big of a deal. So I just need this to boil and I need this to get warm, and once those have reached their temperature, then I'll be back. Okay, I went upstairs for too long and this boiled over. That's okay, there's still plenty of water in there, but I just turned it off. This now says fill jars. So I'm gonna open this up and I have no idea where my funnel went. I remember last time using it thinking, wow, this is a really great place to put it. And now I have no idea where it's at. So, you know the quickest way to find something? Buy another one. So I'm going to take this off, this suction. I'm going to grab one of these out. I'm going to pour out the really hot water. Put it right here. Put the lid back on so we don't lose all the heat. And because I don't have a funnel, I'm just going to try my best. I'll just have to clean the rims really good. I'm just going to do this to try and get out any air bubbles. I'm just going to put a little bit of vinegar on the, wipe it down with some vinegar. Ooh, don't get it in the jar. Just to clean up. Put a lid on. Ooh, that's very hot. Don't touch the jar. Don't touch the jar. Put this in there and get out the next one. Just gonna put that in there. Turn it on. Okay, I'm all done filling my jar, so I'm just gonna press OK. It's going to heat up, it's going to get up to temperature, and once it has vented for 10 minutes, it's going to say put regulator on. Honestly, this is the hardest part out of everything, and it's not very hard. The only hard part of it is remembering to come back. But this does beep at you when it's time to put the regulator on. So we're gonna let this get nice and toasty, and I'll be able to hear this pretty much from where I'm gonna be. And so I'll be able to hear when this starts venting. It just has a lot of high pressure, hot vapors coming out. And so I'll be able to hear it, but then I'll also be able to hear it when the pressure canner starts beeping at me. So now it's just a waiting game, and that wasn't very much work for doing that. All we did was soak the beans overnight and then get them to a boil and fill the jars, and that's as much work as we had to do. Okay, this has been venting for 10 minutes now, and it says can, and it says put regulator on. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that on there, and press enter. And now it's just gonna time it down for me. Okay, this is done now. It says cool. And it's actually going to take probably a couple of hours in order for it to cool down enough for this little pressure gauge to go down in order for me to open this up. And it's quite late at night right now, so I'm just gonna go to bed. I feel totally comfortable letting it cool down. It's not like it's gonna heat up and create a bomb or anything. So this is just gonna cool down, and then in the morning we'll be able to open it up and take him out. Okay, this pressure canner is all done now. It says done on it, and it's the next morning. It's just been chilling here for the whole night. Oh, and those rings are actually off. They are. Hopefully they sealed, I think so. Yep. Those are actually still kind of warm. I'm surprised that those rings just kind of came off. But that vinegar works so great to not have the cloudiness on your jars. Thanks for joining me today as we made refried beans and just pressure canned pinto beans. I am learning that I really like this digital pressure canner because it takes the guesswork out of everything. If you're on the fence about getting a digital pressure canner and you do small batch canning, then I would highly suggest it. And if you guys have any good ideas for me too, I have just been testing this out with a whole bunch of different things. This is my first pressure canner that I've had. My mom has a different one that I've used a couple of times, but this is a lot easier. So if you guys have any ideas of things that I could try out to can that aren't super complicated or anything like that, let me know what they are so that I can try them out, because having a pressure canner myself has been very fun, and now the options are wide open as to what I can. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope that you guys are able to have a good day. Bye.